who will speak is Derek Jumong, and he's going to speak about safety in the workplace. So a small description on his presentation. This presentation will be designed to raise awareness and provide practical guidance on creating a safe and healthy working environment, covering common workplace hazards, accident prevention strategies, and the importance of compliance with safety standards and procedures. Participants will learn how to recognize risks, apply safety work practices, and respond effectively in the case of emergencies. This session also emphasizes the role of teamwork, communication, and strong safety culture in reducing incidents and protecting both people and property. Doric, a short bio about Doric. He's been in the construction industry and an occupational safety health practitioner for 20 years. He's played a key role in many successful deliveries of mega construction projects in oil and gas, complex petrochemical plants, and large-scale infrastructure developments. As a dedicated member of project management teams, Doric has focused on preventing incidents, safeguarding lives, protecting property, and minimizing environmental impact. His extensive expertise covers every stage of construction, including early works, site preparation, contractor mobilization, execution, pre-commissioning, commissioning and startup, project completion, facility handover, and demobilization. Please welcome Derek Yuang Jumong to the podium.
Yes, thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the participants online and all the participants here in the auditorium. Today, before that, I would like to upfront to ask for your understanding that sometimes I do have some slurred speech and I do stutter. But anyway, this presentation is mostly based on the general acceptable and recognized standards. Some of the pictures that I use to present is especially for those dangerous situations is not from KAUST, except for those pictures that is taken from the site, and some of the pictures was the face is covered. Okay. Now, safety at workplace. Yeah. Safety at workplace. Okay. Is a workplace is a place where you do your a place of employment where you do your skills, your profession, it is an you have to practice your occupation. So in this situation, it is in an occupational setting. Occupational setting is a broad term, but in this particular presentation, it is about occupational safety and health. Now, in the workplace, okay, it is a shared responsibility. Safety at the workplace is a shared responsibility, and all individuals inside this occupational setting must have a duty of care. So it is shared between the employer and the employee. So the employer, they have their legal obligation, as well as the employee also have its legal obligation. So I used OSHA as an example, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, General Duty Clause, Section 5, close in parenthesis A, close in parenthesis 1 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act. This is a legal obligation that requires employers to provide a safe workplace, free from recognized hazards that are causing or likely to cause death or serious harm to employees. Then the workers' right. Workers' rights is a fundamental to modern occupational safety and health legislation. So workers have the rights. First right is workers' right to know. The workers needs to know the hazards that they may face during the execution of their job or to complete a task. Workers have the right to know if the organization or the company he's working have a safety program. Workers also have the right to know of any changes in the process that could cause harm while they are working, and the workers' right to refuse unsafe work. Workers have the right to refuse unsafe work if there is a imminent danger on the workplace. So they have the right to refuse work. However, they can be reassigned to other areas where there is no safety issue, or it is deemed that the area is safe. Then workers' right to report accidents. Workers have the right to report accidents without reprisal or reprimand from not only the employee but from anybody while doing the reporting. Okay. Workers' right to personal protective equipment. Workers have the right to personal equipment if any or there is hazard on the workplace that they are being assigned, and the workers' right to personal protective equipment, if not provided, will give rise to the workers' right to refuse unsafe work. Personal protective equipment is issued to the workers by the employers free of charge, depending on the hazards that they might face during the work or during the execution of their job. And then we have the safety management documentation, administration. So every organization, companies, they have their own safety management system. They have their own safety policy statement, safety program, incident reporting and investigation procedure, emergency response plan, and security plan. To name a few, but this is not limited to anybody. There's a lot of procedures that we have in each of the organization. Now, as we said that as per the mandate of the general duty clause, we say that free from recognized hazard. So basically, what we need to do first of all, before we start any activity or anything in the workplace, is to identify the hazard, assess the risk, and provide control measure. So we need to establish controls for hazards of any risk or of any risk that we will take that may affect the health and safety of all employees and others at the workplace. So first of all, what is hazard? Basically, in general, we say hazard is a source of anything that can cause harm. Right? It is. Yeah, it is right. However, when you are in a occupational setting, as mandated by the law or as a legal obligation, hazard could be defined as it is a potential or inherent condition, a condition where there is an inherent that can interfere with the expected orderly progress of an activity. The condition is embedded with danger. There is a potential that there's something will happen on that particular condition, and it could interfere with the progress of an activity which either has previously caused or could reasonably be expected to cause personal injury or illness or property damage. Hazards are grouped in two broad categories. One is safety. Those are dealing with injuries and property damage. The other one is health. which is dealing with illnesses, including mental health. Now, as it is a condition, when you say condition is inert, it is stable. To be affected by the hazards at the workplace is to expose yourself to hazard. There must be an exposure. You need to expose yourself to hazard. Exposure is a state of being in contact with or near a hazard. So the contact, the proximity, this involves duration and frequency of that contact and the proximity to that condition, to that particular dangerous condition that may result to injury or ill health or damage. Without this exposure, a hazard poses no risk. So if you expose yourself to that dangerous condition, to a hazard, the result could be in this example, you could be caught with something, like an operating equipment, caught in between two objects that could result to injury, fall to surface while walking. You could fall to the same level, fall to below, overexertion, bodily reaction, overexposure, struck by, struck against, in contact with, or anything that you inhale, you ingest, or you absorb, contaminated with any substance that is dangerous or hazardous. Hazards are classified. We need to really to have to also know the classification of hazards. Hazards are classified to mechanical hazards, physical hazards, biological hazards, chemical hazards. It is the normal hazards that we have. However, due to the changes, and while we are progressing, there are some hazards that also have existed, like ergonomic hazards and psychosocial hazards. Now, as hazard is a condition, it is always at the workplace, and then all workers or anybody who is inside the occupational setting in the workplace must take the risk, or he will be a risk taker. He will expose himself because there are tasks to do. We have a task to do. We need to complete something. We need to provide service. We need to produce something. So, in an occupational setting, in a workplace, everyone will take the risk. So, hazard, we have the hazard, the condition, the exposure, and the risk that we will take. The risk that we choose to take the risk because that is our occupation. That is where we need to do or complete a certain task. So the duration where the individuals is in that environment and the severity of that environment. The duration, it is the time of your exposure to hazard. And then the proximity to a condition, the near, how near are you on that condition, of the dangerous condition, that may result to injury or damage. And then for illnesses, it is the exposure to something, some substance, a dangerous substance, biological. It is also being quantified on the volume or the amount of the particular dangerous substance to enter your body, and then it will result to illness, like it will result to an acute illness or chronic illnesses. Now that say recognized hazard, and then we need to take the risk. Because if we don't take the risk, we cannot complete anything on the occupational setting in the workplace. So now we need to understand the risk. Risk is, it is a probability. It will happen sometimes, or there's a range of probabilities with a specific adverse effect. under the condition of your own exposure, of human exposure, or the likelihood of possibilities of hazard consequences in terms of severity and probability. The probability of having the injury or the probability of being harmed on that condition, and when you are harmed, how severe it is. What is the result of the consequences of being harmed? In this particular, okay, you have the risk. You have to take the risk. So to protect everyone inside the workplace is to identify the hazard, of course, from the sequential steps, from the sequence of the steps of an activity, of the work, of the task that you need to do, the steps, because each step has its hazard and the associated risk. So what did you get these steps? It is based on the work method statement, or because this is, as I am from construction, I use this example purely from construction. However, this example also can be applicable to any other industry or industry or any other establishments. So when you assess the level of risk by considering the probability and the severity of the potential consequences, risk assessment is a document. It's a process of evaluating the level of risk associated with that particular condition or associated with that particular hazard. Then if there is a risk, okay, and you need to assess the risk, you will evaluate the risk, okay? So this example is an example of a workplace with a condition that is imminent, or you can see it is existing. There is an existing hazard. The existing hazard is a staircase that don't have the handrails, the protection for someone who will use this staircase to not to fall. So there is an existing hazard. There is unsafe condition. There's a condition that is unsafe. So it will not have done any wrong, or it will not possess any danger to anyone, unless except there's somebody who take unsafe act. There's someone that will expose themselves to that particular condition. So there is an unsafe act. There is an hazardous situation. Well, the probability of falling, the probability of falling is maybe less because of your momentum. Although there is no handrails, both sides, your momentum, the area of your steps, still, it could be acceptable in that situation. While someone is doing any unsafe act. However, if there will be another one, or there's multiple unsafe act, there's a lot of, because in the workplace, it is multiple, or there's a simultaneous activities. There are simultaneous. So if simultaneously 2 or 3 people will use the unsafe staircase, then the probability of the fall, the probability of injury will double, or it might go, moderate, or could be high, depending on the height of where they are situated. So there is an unsafe act, there is an unsafe condition. We are only waiting for an event to happen. If an event, it could be incident. So if an event happens, the guy using the staircase without the handrail protection might fall from below 1.8 meters, where could it be minor? Or if he falls more than 1.8 meter, it could be major. The severity will be major depending on the existing condition and the action of a certain individual that will result to an event, and then there will be severity. How severe it is if a particular individual who's doing the unsafe act, how severe it is. It could be hospitalization, or God forbid, it could be death. And then, as we are talking probability and severity, we have the table, we call it risk matrix. And then from the table is a color coded. And this is where we rate the probability and the severity of that action. And then we have from the color code, we have the recommended action. What action we will do based on the matrix, based on our assessment. Okay? For those that will result to immediately dangerous, we will do really the process of implement control. Stop the process. That would be the action that we will take. For the high risk, medium risk, low risk, and very low risk, have there also corresponding action to be taken, recommended action to be taken. And all those actions must be based on the hierarchy of control. We have the hierarchy of control, how to safeguard the hazards. Okay? Hierarchy of control is elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls. So it's in inverted pyramid because PPE is the very least effective, the last line of defense. Okay, we have the risk assessment. We manage, we identify the hazard, we manage the risk, we reduce the possibility of any injuries through an acceptable level. Acceptable level. However, there is still a risk. There is a residual risk, or still there is a risk, or something. There is still the hazard. The condition is still imminent. There is still hazard in the workplace. What we need to do? We observe. We need to observe. We need to monitor. We need to ensure that the risk assessment is effective, or it is being implemented and it is followed by everyone. So safety observations, as a safety observations, it is also all your observation must be based on any existing procedure, applicable procedure, recognized standards or the local laws. Okay, it will be a proactive approach. It's a proactive approach to elevate the safety culture and measure the safety performance. Observations. How you will do measure a safety performance on particular observations? When in fact, when we say actions, it's behavioral. It is about behavior. How do you measure behavior? So practically, conventionally, when there is unsafe behavior, or there is a behavior that is in violation of something, we always do what? Disciplinary action. So in safety or in occupational setting, it is really critical that human behavior is almost the critical component of an incident. Then it is important to focus on human factors to minimize errors, human errors in occupational setting. To reduce the likelihood of the incident at the workplace is to get the right behavior of all individuals. So to get the right behavior of all individuals, well, it's hard. We need to do it. We need to observe and monitor it. So it is most intuitive. It is an intuitive approach. Is the direct intervention while the person is committing a unsafe act or within the proximity of that unsafe condition. So we have to communicate. We have to intervene. Intervention to discourage unsafe act and unsafe condition and encourage the right behavior will have a significant impact to correct and motivate human behavior. Passing by without addressing the unsafe act and unsafe condition will send a powerful message that the unsafe act is acceptable and the unsafe condition is allowed to continue with unspoken approval. So it is really important for us that We have to intervene, we have to communicate. And passing by without recognizing the safe behavior can misplace the motivation and neglected the chance of reinforcing and sustaining safe behavior continuously. What is an unsafe act? What is that action that expose workers to hazard, to a condition that is dangerous? It is a conduct that cause unnecessary exposure. When we say unnecessary exposure, it is out of those assessments that we have done. Unnecessary exposure to a hazard or a violation of a commonly accepted procedure. An unsafe condition, it is an existing possible condition, which if you allowed to continue, could result in an undesired outcome. It could result to injury, property damage, lost production, or lost time, etc. It is a state, physical state, that deviates from the accepted normal or correct practice and has the potential to produce injury or property damage. Excessive exposure to a health hazard. Then, near miss, okay, an event. It is not yet an event that has, but it is an event that is a combination of unsafe act and unsafe condition, and that event did not result to any injury or loss, but which has the potential for injury or loss if the circumstances had become slightly different. So why we are talking about this unsafe act, unsafe condition, including near miss? Well, I will explain it later on. But before that, we have to do the proper communication and the right intervention. Okay, communications and intervention. We don't only communicate; we need to intervene. Okay, due to the condition. When you say the condition, the hazard, it is really have the important to do the intervention because of the time, duration, frequency of the condition that could affect the workers at site. So intervention is really important. However, when you do the intervention, you need to first ensure that it is safe to approach. You are respectful. You have to introduce yourself. Okay. Then first, complement those right behaviors and reinforce any positive safe behavior. Ask the workers what he thinks he's doing unsafely. Ask him what he thinks is the way to do the task safely. Then find out the reason causing the behavior. What is the reason of causing that behavior? What is the reason why the worker is using a grinder or anything, or he's not wearing his personal protective equipment? Maybe there is no resources, or he was not issued with the PPE. And then after that, both of you, both the worker or who is doing the intervention, who is doing the communication, the sender and the receiver must mutually agree on the corrective actions to be taken. Then complement any other positive observation, shake hands before you leave, if it is possible. Then communications on the recognizing and complementing positive behavior. When you do an observation and you see positive behavior, you need to recognize the person doing the positive behavior directly to the person who is doing the positive behavior, and then encourage and reinforce safe behavior continuously. Document this positive behavior, and then it could be a basis for your safety awards, incentives program, or anything that you could, reinforce the behavior and motivate the behavior continuously. And communications and interventions on unsafe act and unsafe condition. Communication should be respectful and two-way. It must not be a lecture. It could be. It must be a conversation based on respect. Mutually agree the behavior. Mutually agree that the behavior is unsafe and the condition is unacceptable. be firm. You need to be firm that you are doing unsafe act. You are doing your behavior is not correct. Okay, so it is unacceptable. And then after that, you need to mutually explore possible solution and mutually agree on corrective action. So when you do the observation of safe access and a safe condition, you need to immediately provide corrective action. So to provide corrective action immediately, you need to have the participation of the authorized person. Could be the supervisor, it could be the permit receiver, which is the permit receiver is we need to have the permit receiver always on the site while they are on the while doing the task or while they're doing the activity. And in the event that the corrective action is impossible to do the correction immediately, then you have to provide a time banded schedule to how you will close this on this observation. What this, either it is unsafe act or it is an unsafe condition. For example, if you observe a behavior, okay, this is a behavior. Okay, what do you think is the anyone can give me what are those uh, violations or anything that they are doing, the behavior that is unsafe or the condition that is unsafe? Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
And he will basically bang his head.
yeah. Okay.
The other
The-
one, I think he's cutting the thing, so he's cutting actually the metal. So if he's cutting the metal, then it will definitely probably fall on his head.
Yes. Yes. Totally correct. Thank you very much. Okay. Then there is a behavior. We have observed the behavior. The guy on the left is not wearing hard hat. The guy on the right have no face shield while using a angle grinder without a disc guard. So if you really just think of it, okay? If there is the potential of having an incident, an event, uh, the probability is high. The severity will be also high. So what we will do if we observe this behavior, we must act. We must provide immediate corrective action. So immediate corrective action is provided. The guy is wearing hard hat now. The other guy is wearing face shield. And the grinder disc, the grinder was fitted with cover or guard. So it's immediately. When you do immediate corrective action, then you reduce the potential hazard, the potential of anything that would happen. You reduce it immediately. We're there immediately. We don't have to wait for 7 days. We don't need to wait for 7 days, 30 days. Okay. So we need to provide the immediate corrective action. Why we need to provide immediate corrective action? Okay. Yeah, because it is the time duration and the frequency of or the proximity of the condition, the hazard on the particular or on the workplace. And then all of this, okay, have metrics and indicators. The bottom of the indicators are reportable but not recordable. Okay, what I'm saying is that we always do reactive. We are being reactive when there's something happens. There's an incident, we react to that incident. That's the time we do campaigns. That's the time we do any programs that will, prevent these things from happening again. Well, we have a very limited, opportunities. That window is a very limited opportunity. However, if we go down on the bottom, And then where we are most vulnerable, I'm sorry, vulnerable, okay? We go to the bottom, and then we'll do uh, the correction or the corrective action on the bottom of the pyramid. Now, if we have 600 unsafe behavior that would result to 30 near misses and 10 minor injuries, based on our intervention, we already have reduced 3. 2 unsafe act, 1 unsafe condition. Just one, that's just one setting. So we lessen the unsafe behavior. If we will go all together, work all together, and do more of this unsafe of the safety observation by looking at the unsafe act and unsafe behavior, directly intervening on unsafe act and unsafe behavior in a respectful manner and a way of good communication, we will not have 13 near misses. We will not have 10 minor injuries. We will not have major injury. Okay, because this triangle is based on data. This is based on data that the more that we observe or we correct unsafe act and unsafe condition, we will lessen and reduce the potential of having an injury or any property damage at the workplace. And we have to do it continuously. And then it will not stop there. We have to continuously improve from all of this intervention and communication. When we intervene, we close that issue because we have provided the correction, the corrective action. However, it doesn't stop there. We need to collect all the data, make a trend analysis, graph it, and then know the performance of your safety or your workplace. Where are you? Where is your standing as in performance and safety performance based on the behavior of your workers or based on the behavior of the workers, which is the immediate causes of the incident. Immediate causes of the incidents are unsafe act and unsafe condition. So you go through the very source of the issue or the problem. So when you do the collection of all the data, graph it, and then make a trend analysis, but it must be done by getting the immediate corrective action taken is right, it's appropriate, and all of that task observed was closed. Okay? And then it must be categorized. And again, in my this is an example. It's only an example. In this example, it's construction activities. However, you can categorize all the activities in your workplace, same as what we have in construction. Okay, so you have to categorize it, and then knowing the category, what are those tasks observed? What are those observations that you collected? Okay. After the collection, maybe you can do it weekly, you summarize it weekly, you summarize it monthly. But however, the good thing here is that when you consolidate all the findings and make a trend analysis, you can have a look ahead. You can foresee. It could be used as your program, as a campaign to prevent things to happen, to know the standing or to know what's right. Because in lagging indicators, when you see an incident, there's an incident, you only are focused on one particular event. Here, it is broad. So when you say, when you summarize it, when you consolidate it, and then you're gonna look at the three most that we cannot call it violation, but the three most observations that you have on the month, then you can, like for example, here you have the fall protection, the first fall protection. What are those violations with related to fall protection? Maybe they are not wearing full body harness. Maybe they lack scaffolding materials. So there, and then you can have it as a basis for your inspection next. A basis for your inspection, a basis for your campaign, or any other process to prevent any incident. I mean, and any other untoward anything at the work site or your workplace. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope we learn on this process. This process is it is importantly because it's a very basic. It's a short process and very basic, and it could really lead you to the source of the problem and give the result. Thank you. Any question? I'm
All
sorry,
right.
I was very excited to do this, but I've been doing this for a week, but when I'm here, I really have. Anyway, thank you very much. Any question, please? Thank you.
So any questions in the audience? Also on the online, we can check. So go ahead, Faris.
Yes, thank you for a very interesting presentation. And I would like to ask you a question from your experience. You've talked about the unsafe condition or unsafe acts, the behavior observation of personnels, individuals. What do you think the best approach to improve the safety culture within your organizations? Because this is a common issue that many organizations face. And it's been built from the beginning. So if we are suddenly wanted to increase or improve the safety culture, what do you think in steps the best approach or methods to improve that? Thank you.
Thank you, Paris, for your question. Well, the best approach is, there's a saying, you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So anything that is importantly significant to the safety and health of everybody, okay, must be measured so that we can do something. Okay? Because without that, we are blind, we don't know where to go. So and then we need to have the proper understanding of the activity and the hazard that is why they said in the general duty clause is that the recognized hazard. So the recognized hazard out of the workplace. So we need to really have to make a procedure, a stringent procedure on identifying hazard, and then managing the risk and provide control measure, which is applicable, effective, proven effective. That's it. Thank you. Any questions?
Any online questions? Anybody? Any other last questions in the audience for Dork?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Dork.
thank you very much.
We'll get a picture here. For those in the audience and those online, if you could please complete the feedback, you'll see with the QR code in front of you. That's much appreciated.